Okay, let's talk ACC Technology Committee. All right. So I put together the slide deck to illustrate my thoughts here. So in terms of agenda, kind of what's covered in the slide deck. First, start out with a review of the current technology, just in case anyone doesn't really know what the current technology is. Can kind of summarize each of the different systems and then look holistically at the current technology. Then go over some of the concerns with the current technology, and then talk about potential next steps. Uh, so currently, from a technology perspective, there are 6 separate systems that are all fairly independent of one another that are used by the ACC. There's a membership database and application. There is a ACC website, which is cribbage.org. There is the grassroots website, accgrassroots.org. There's the MRP Master Point program. There is the IRP Internet program and databases, and then there is Cribbage World. So we'll take a look at each one of these systems one at a time. So first, the membership system. The membership system uses a back end of Microsoft Access for a database, and then has Visual Basic scripts that run on top of that database. The system resides on the membership secretary's PC, and information is communicated to and from the membership system to the other systems via email. The ACC website, cribbage.org, also has a separate Microsoft Access backend databases. The web pages are written in ASP, which is short for Active Server Pages, which is a programming language. The system is hosted by a third-party vendor for the hosting of the site, and the information is communicated to and from the ACC website from the other systems via email. The Master Point programs, so it has a back end, which are basically flat files, which are basically like text files. So it's just got a set of text files rather than a back end database. The program is written in Power Basic, which is an old form of Microsoft DOS programming. The programmer resides on the ACC statisticians PC, and tournament results are snail-mailed from the local club directors to regional directors, who then pass them on to Marlene, and she enters all the results into the program in order to compile everything. The Grassroots website has a Microsoft Access, a separate Microsoft Access backend database. The web pages, as with the ACC website, are written in ASP. The system is hosted on a different third-party site than the ACC, so we're paying for 2 different domains and 2 different web hosting companies. And the information, again, is communicated to and from the Grassroots website via email. Then there's the Internet system, the Internet databases. So they actually have 2 Microsoft Access backend databases. So first of all, tournament results are entered by the Internet tournament directors into Excel, and then they're emailed to the Internet statistician, who enters them into the first Microsoft Access database. That Microsoft Access database is then emailed to the Internet director, who creates a second Microsoft Access database, which is then used and uploaded onto the ACC website. And then when you go to the Internet section of the ACC website, it's reading from that second Microsoft Access database in order to show results, lifetime points, etc. And then there's Cribbage World. So Cribbage World, from a technology perspective, most of the articles are written in Microsoft Word. The magazine is laid out and populated using a program called InDesign. which lets you lay out the different sections and which pieces are going to be where in terms of page layout and things like that. And then all the information needed for Cribbage World each month is emailed from all the other systems and loaded manually into InDesign. So those are the current systems, and in isolation, when you look at each system individually, things don't seem completely unreasonable. However, when you look at things overall, it's sort of just kind of it's sort of a mess, to be honest. So we have the lines in blue are information being transferred electronically, like between between a program and a database. The lines in red are emails. Because all of these systems are independent of one another, in order to keep them all in sync, information needs to be emailed. So information is emailed from the membership program to Cribbage World each month to get the list of new members, to get the list of members who have expired, things like that. The Masterpoint program is sending the weekend standings. The Grassroots website needs to email Cribbage World the Grassroots related standings. The internet standings need to be communicated to Cribbage World as well. So Cribbage World is getting all the information from all these different systems. And then the membership program is also needs to communicate with all the different systems, the MRP, GRP, and IRP systems, so that when membership status changes, new members come in, new ACC numbers are issued, membership expires, etc. All that information has to be communicated manually to each of the different systems. And so, looking at it holistically, we've got 6 different databases. We've got 5 different applications written in 3 different programming languages. We've got 3 applications living on individual PCs, the membership system, the MRP system, and Cribbage World. We've got 2 different domains and hosting companies that we're paying for our different websites. And we've got information being emailed everywhere to maintain consistency between the applications. And so, seeing that holistically, there are a handful of different concerns that come up with our current technology. So, having many different systems creates a lot of work to maintain the consistency of the systems, and combined with that, often results in long delays when communicating information between the systems. So a membership application is mailed to the membership secretary. He enters that into the membership system. That does not automatically make that information available to all the rest of the systems, and so there's therefore a healthy delay in communicating from the time that membership information is received until membership information is up to date in each of the different systems. And the same is true for filling in like weekend tournament results, or internet tournament results, or things like that, where there is constantly this sort of monthly cycle and monthly delay in getting all the results up to date and posted. And then, because each system is different, the technology is different, the interfaces are different, training and finding backups is much more difficult. The job of the weekend MRP statistician and the job of the internet statistician are very, very similar, but the programs they use, the interfaces they have, the way of generating reports and communicating are all completely different. So those roles, which are in theory quite interchangeable, become in practice completely different jobs, require learning completely different systems, and it just becomes very difficult because you've got to train each person in each system individually on their specific role, and it's very difficult to kind of go from one role to another um, without, because we have all these different applications and different interfaces. Uh, some additional concerns. We've touched on this a bit, but having two different websites and two different hosting companies results in double the cost than if we had a single website and single hosting company. Also, anytime you want to make changes to a particular application, because it's written in its own separate technology and has its own separate database, you've got to go out and find a specific contractor that knows that technology, that works with that technology, and so you got to find either a number of individuals within the ACC who know lots of different technology, or you've got to go find a handful of different companies in order to maintain all the different technology that we currently have. In addition, the having multiple sites obviously dilutes the brand. It would be far easier if, for someone new, the American Cribbage Congress was represented by a single site and a single one-stop shopping place to go for everything related to cribbage. Right now, most people join the ACC through grassroots, but they find out about the ACC through cribbage.org, and it just becomes, okay, well, why do I go here for one, and why do I go there for another, and it just dilutes the brand and just creates confusion. Okay, if I'm a new local tournament director, I want to run a weekend tournament, I have to fill out paper results. But if I want to be a director and I want to run my local club, I can fill the results out via the computer. But if I want to be an internet tournament director, then I have to fill in these spreadsheets and email them. I mean, we have 3 different ways to enter results for a 9-game cribbage tournament, be it paper, be it directly on the computer, be it spreadsheet. And so just there's all this inconsistency, which just makes it difficult for people to quickly adapt to kind of what's needed in order to run, and participate and help and volunteer and run the tournaments in these different divisions. So the big question becomes, after seeing all of this and understanding all the concerns, is, well, who's actually responsible for looking at our technology from a big picture perspective and deciding on an overall technical direction for the ACC? Where are we trying to go? Because without a strategic direction, it's really difficult to make individual decisions about individual applications, because you're making them in isolation, and there's no one thinking about the potential consequences of a decision made in one system on the other systems. And I'm just not sure right now that there's anyone sort of overall who has responsibility for the ACC's technology. So just to kind of frame this a little bit, an example of a strategic direction. So here's what the current technology looks like. So here's one example. This is my example of a strategic direction, just to sort of illustrate it. Right now we've got 6 different databases. What if instead of 6 different databases, we had a single centralized database? So what if we got rid of this database? What if we got rid of this database? What if we got rid of this database? If we got rid of this set of text files? What if we got rid of the membership database? And what if we just had a single centralized ACC database? We'll put it down here for now. So now we've got a single database, all the data for the ACC lives in a single centralized place. Instead of having two websites, what if we worked towards having a single website to consolidate our brand, consolidate where members need to go, consolidate where tournament directors need to go, consolidate just everyone thinks anything cribbage should be done at cribbage.org. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of the grassroots site altogether. We're going to work towards that, and we want to centralize everything on the ACC website. So I'll put that here. So now I've got a membership program right now, which is a standalone application, living on the membership secretary's PC. What if, we built into the ACC website a place for the membership secretary to log on and do all the things related to membership? So instead of having a separate membership program, the membership program would be consolidated into the ACC website, and just become part of that. And the membership secretary would do everything that he still needed to do, and it would have all the functionality he has today, but it would just be done via the ACC website. So then we've got a master point program, which again is written in an old DOS technology. We've already got interfaces in the grassroots website in order to enter tournament results. Entering tournament results for grassroots tournaments is not all that different to entering results for weekend tournaments. Obviously, there are some differences, but there are more similarities than there are differences. And so, what if we developed a common set of tournament results interfaces that could actually be used by all three different divisions? So instead of having paper tournament results and having to fill out paper tournaments, the directors of local tournaments could just go directly to the ACC website and enter results of the tournaments they run on the weekend directly on the site, which would get rid of the master point program and then what if we did the same for internet tournament directors? So we build a place where local tournament directors, internet tournament directors, or weekend tournament directors can enter their results from any of the three divisions. And instead of having three different sets of code to do more or less the same thing, we combine it into a single set of code that's flexible enough to handle each of the three different divisions. So then we've gotten rid of the internet. And what if we worked, and then once we've got a single consolidated ACC database, the technology that Cribbage World uses in design is actually capable of connecting and pulling information directly from a database. And so instead of needing to email all the information related to membership or each of the three divisions to Cribbage World each month, the Cribbage World could automatically populate by connecting directly to the database and pulling all the information that it needs directly. And so instead of having this be the ACC's technology picture, this could be the ACC's technology picture. Now that's just one example. And then, if that were the strategic direction, then, all decisions about individual systems and how they communicate and putting a plan in place in order to work towards that strategic direction would become much clearer. Now, this certainly doesn't have to be the strategic direction. There are arguments for this. There are arguments certainly against this. There's this, obviously, with this particular direction, would come with a lot of work and a lot of effort and cost behind it. And so, maybe some other strategic direction is better and in the better interest of the ACC. But I think the point is, regardless of what that strategic direction is, like a next step is working towards developing what that direction should actually be, um, and that direction should be communicated, made clear, agreed upon by whomever has a stake in it, um, and so it's my belief that one way to get at that would be to form a technology committee. Um, you know, right now we have committees for rules and ethics. Groups of people who are, setting the strategic directions for those components of the American Cribbage Congress, and we really don't have that like leadership and direction on the technology side, which I think is one of the reasons we are where we are from a technology perspective. It's that each of the individual silos has been making technical decisions specifically about their own piece without the bigger picture in mind and without really needing to be responsible to the other parts of the organization, because there is no overarching committee or leadership over technology as a whole. I think if it were up to me, the head of the technology committee would actually not be a technologist, but rather someone who is good at you know understanding things from a business perspective. It should be the responsibility of the technologists to convey the information to this person so that they can make good strategic decisions. But obviously, those of us who are technologists in the organization are biased and have our own opinions on the way things should be from a long-term perspective. And somebody kind of with a good big picture view from a business perspective would probably be kind of like the ideal person to sort of lead lead this sort of committee, and then folks who are heavily using the technology and or creating the technology. ACC webmaster, grassroots programmer, membership secretary, national statistician, internet statistician, grassroots national statistician. A lot of those folks would be natural people to be consulting with, to be understanding how they do their jobs today, how to best save work for them, um, how to just kind of best move forward so that everyone the job that everyone is doing is being considered, but we're still working towards an overall direction that gets the ACC into kind of a better place than it is today from a technology perspective.